Hello, and welcome to Dolphin's Dive, the weekly strategically minded Handelabra stream hosted by Logic Dolphin. Handelabra believes in civil rights for everyone and in being as inclusive as possible, so any comments or activity actively working against those goals are not welcome and will not be tolerated. You can follow us at Handelabra Games on Twitch and Handelabra on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. You can follow me personally at Logic Dolphin on Twitch, Twitter, Discord, YouTube, and pretty much any avenue. Sentinels in the Multiverse, bottom of the ninth. Wow, sorry. I'm combining names here. Sentinels of the Multiverse, bottom of the ninth, One Deck Dungeon, Aeon's End, and Spirit Island are all available on Steam, iOS, and Android devices, and One Deck Dungeon is also available on Switch. And you can find more information on those games at handelabra.com. Also, Sentinels of Earth Prime has been kickstarted and will be available in the future. Gather your adventuring supplies. It's time to go back to the dungeon. Get the hit roguelike game One Deck Dungeon at a fraction of the cost now through September 12th. Don't forget to bring your magic wand to class. Yeah, I thought about doing One Deck Dungeon today, but I'm gonna just do Sentinels, just because. Oh no, it's a randomized start on this week's one-shot. We're not playing this one now. Where are we on our backlog here? Did I do all the ones before that? I should double check. Any ones I skipped? No. On the Brink. Challenge Plaguerat. Back issue ended September 5th, 2017. Daily report. Prisoner intake from Revocor occurred on schedule without issue. All systems nominal. P.S. There are donuts in the break room. Memo. Code Blue. Please remember to follow standard procedure and report to the infirmary if you observe any signs of illness in yourself or others. Urgent memo, code yellow. The facility has been reduced to a skeleton crew while the infirmary deals with a recent outbreak. Be advised that all prisoners must be confined to their cells. Emergency memo, code red. Lockdown procedure is now in effect. Prisoners found outside of their cells will be shot on sight. If you are sick, you will die. Get out now. Code black, I will kill you all. This one shot requires Rook City and Shattered Tumlights. Challenge Plaguerat versus Legacy, Raw, and Tachyon in the block. Team of 3. Some heavy hitters in there. Lots of damage boosting coming from Plaguerat. It's Challenge Plaguerat. I forget what the challenge rule is. Let's find out. Rawr, bite, rah, rah. Just imagine a board Plaguerat. Rawr, bite, rand. We fight this day for liberty and for justice. All right. Legacy, who is starting with a Bolster Allies, Next Evolution, and 2 Thox. Raw, starting with a Fire Blast, Imbued Fire, Solar Flare, and Staff of Raw. Tachyon, starting with an Accelerated Assault, HUD Goggles, Pushing the Limits, and Synaptic Interruption. So, at the start of the game, the Plague Locust is put into play. At the start of the villain turn, if all active heroes are infected, Plaguerat flips. Whenever a card named Infection is destroyed, Plaguerat deals each hero target 3 toxic damage. At the end of the villain turn, Plaguerat deals each hero target 1 irreducible melee damage. Challenge rule, Noxious Stench. At the start of the villain turn, Plaguerat deals each non-villain target 1 toxic damage. Just more damage, you know, Plaguerat stuff. On the flip side, at the start of the villain turn, Plaguerat deals each infected hero 2 toxic damage. Then if any active heroes are not infected, Plaguerat flips. Infected heroes have these powers. Power. Your hero deals a hero target 3 toxic damage. Your hero regains 3 HP. Power. Your hero deals themselves 3 toxic damage. Destroy a card named Infection. At the end of the villain turn, Plaguerat deals each hero target 1 irreducible melee damage. And challenge rule still applies. So, eating a teammate to regain HP and taking a blow to toxic damage to destroy an infection card. But we do have some interesting energy here with Next Evolution because Legacy can be immune to a damage type. So if we opt for everyone to be infected and everyone chooses to hit Legacy for toxic damage, they can get HP recovery that they would not necessarily normally have. Not sure that is worth. I'm sure there's more than 3 HP of damage happening per turn. The Plague Locust, from what I remember, it's been a while since I've done Plaguerat. Increased damage dealt by Plaguerat and all infected heroes by 1. At the end of the villain turn, Plaguerat regains X HP, where X equals the number of infected heroes. So when a hero's infected, they deal extra damage. So this 3 damage is really 4 damage, so it's not profiting hit points. Or, I mean, it's not net neutral, it's also net negative. But in addition, the infection card involves self-damage anyway. So that's a bit, you know. Plus we have Legacy here who would love to use Galvanize, but we'll see about that. Galvanize is generally pretty good, especially in damage races, say against Plague Rat. You also have Imbued Fire, which, you know, damage race. Let's see what happens if we're starting infected or not. Damage. And we're getting 1 infection. It's par for the course. So whoever we infect gets a +1. I'm already slightly tempted to throw that on Raw. If we do Imbued Fire, then potentially someday we could do Flesh of the Sun God, and so if we have Imbued Fire plus Flesh of the Sun God, then we're immune to all of our self-damage, and that would be pretty cool. Otherwise, who's really doing the most damage here? No one, really, other than Raw. Raw could take the infection, play the Staff of Raw, provide himself with a +1, and then hit himself for 3 next turn. Imbued Fire is probably a little better since it helps out Tachyon as well. Let's go Raw. He also on the infection card? No, he's the only one not on the infection card, unless that's supposed to be Raw in the background, but that looks more like Haka. This is Legacy, this is Tachyon, and where the heck is Raw? Oh, he's here. But then we don't have a Wraith. Wraith is missing. And then there's a Fixer here, and a Visionary. And there's a more explicit Haka there. There's a Bunker there. So there's all sorts of art. Hey, there's Fnatic. Chrono Ranger? That was before your expansion. Weird. It's like the developers already had a plan. Okay. The only hero who's not 100% set up for this coming turn is Tachyon, but she does have Pushing the Limits and HUD Goggles, and one other card play, I suppose. We could get Next Evolution out, and then do that. We could try to do super damage, I don't know. If we're trying to damage race, we should go very quickly. Probably. Let's do Fog. I'm going to ignore the Plague Locust because that is a source of damage increase. Heroic Interception. Extra damage. How about some more extra damage? 2 damage became 5 damage with all the boosting. Hey, Flesh of the Sun God, perfect. Alright, so HUD, push. Might as well utilize the boosts. And let's see what the top card of my deck is. It's a Sonic Vortex. I do have a burst in my trash. There's only one thing I really want to hit, so I could draw it. Could dig a bit more, but it's not a burst card, so I'm gonna leave it. Draw it. Doesn't benefit Tachyon in any direct way. Fleet of Foot does. Char. Oh boy. Never Plague Rat deals 5 damage, play an extra card. Well, the only hero with ongoing destruction is Tachyon, so can't do much about that right now. I want the Legacy Ring so that we could then combo it with some other effect later, like Next Evolution. Lots of self-damage. Let's throw out more damage. I guess I should have done Flesh of the Sun God, oh well. I want damage. My 2 damage has been tripled. And you do have a +1. I'm gonna leave this in play for the moment. You have 2 +1s rather, because imbued fire. Fleet of Foot gets me an inspiring presence on Legacy, pretty good. Even more boosting. Hypersonic Assault, pretty good. Stops Plague Rat from dealing damage. Stops Char from dealing damage. Keeps us alive. Sure. This is definitely a Jeremy game right now. I have 2 more plays. I could do Synaptic and Sonic Vortex on myself, but we do have a upcoming Inspiring Presence, so I don't have to do that right away. On the other hand, am I taking an empty turn right now? Might as well play this. If I wait for Inspiring Presence, then I get +2 to damage dealt to Plague Rat. If Plague Rat plays an Infection, attacking on gets another set of +1s. I think I wait. I'm not in a rush to play it. I want to keep that card because that draws cards and deals damage with all the damage boosting. The block is bringing out a block guard who hits the Plague Locust. Yeah, take that, Plague Locust. You can't deal damage. Afflicted Frenzy. Oh boy. Things are gonna start getting fun. But I think it is time for that Flesh of the Sun God. Because that's a lot of damage that Ra's doing. So I don't want to do... I guess I can't actually use Sonic Vortex the way I wanted because... Oh no, I'll just destroy Pushing Limbs. Right, I can still do it. What am I talking about? I was gonna say I'm gonna do self-damage with Pushing Limbs, but this doesn't... I can do this whenever. Okay, but I'm not leaving Pushing the Limits in play. Wondering whether we flush the Sun God or not. We could take Char down, we could ignore Char. If we ignore Char, we might want to do Fire Immunity, but that's only 2 damage to Plague Rat, whereas this is 7. Right? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And no one else is infected right now. Alright, we're no longer pushing limits. Let's Nimble Strike and see if we get something off that we would like to play. Sucker Punch. Not what I want to play. I mean, the fire damage is 3 damage. Because imbued fire increases all fire damage. It is 5 damage to Plague Rat. It is also 5 damage to Plague Locust. Also 5 damage to everyone on this team. I'm gonna take out Char. Save ourselves a little bit of grief. You're still gonna be beating up the Plague Locust, so you're not affecting us. Okay, I want that card. Inmates. I'm crazed prisoner. Prisoned rogue. Damage. More afflicted frenzies. But Raw should make it that those are hitting heroes. The heal damage to the hero. Highest is Raw. Raw is immune to fire. So everything's fine right now. We have an additional power usage, so I might as well put next evolution out, I suppose. We're dealing a non-inmate with the second highest, who is currently tied between Legacy and Raw, so you probably need to be taken out at some point. We could do melee immunity to prevent that, and prevent this. No, this is toxic. You do melee, though. You do melee. Also do bolster allies because Tachyon doesn't have that many cards, but she does have quick insight, and she could just sucker punch the Grace prisoner. Or burst isn't that many. We do flying smash. We do still have inspiring presence and imbued fire on Legacy, but not that many pluses. No infection, no galvanize. I'll do next evolution so that I have a second power. And I'll do melee. And then immunity. And then immunity. It will get a bit scary once someone else is infected, because if it's Legacy, he dies. Unless we do Flesh of the Sun God. I'm wondering whether I do Flame Spike, Base Power, Flesh of the Sun God, or if I do Staff of Ra instead. For its card loses a +1, but if I can build Plague Rat in the next, set of turns. We're about halfway there. Almost, sort of. How many pluses are there? Galvanize, Inspiring Presence, Imbued Fire, Staff of Ra, Plague Locust, so there's 5. So this is 6 damage, followed by 7 damage for 13, followed by 8 damage for 21. That putting you down to 30, but still quite a bit to get through. Like, if Legacy gets infected, he dies. The way that he would get infected, this would just infect, Tachyon. This would infect everyone? Yeah, if we get a sewer, if we get a Ravage, that's when Legacy dies. It could be slightly more damage to do Fire Blast this turn, Flame Spike on base power, and Staff of Ra next turn. But that runs the risk of dying. And I don't feel like mathing to see how much damage we really need. Let's do the safe approach. So So if Legacy does end up infected, he will not deal himself damage. Get more bursts in the trash and find other cards. Sonic Vortex is cool. Another Lightspeed Barrage is cool. Accelerated Assault is a burst card. Sonic Vortex takes out the time-crazed prisoner. And the imprisoned rogue? Yeah, he's not doing us any favors. Is the block guard actually hitting us now? No, he's still hitting Plague Locust. Could just take him out because we don't want the Plague Locust to be taken out. He's also like... This is supposed to keep inmates in check, but because of how Sentinels works, target dealt damage is we cannot deal damage until the start of the environment turn. That effect goes away before an inmate's damage would happen, so the time-crazed prisoner would still deal damage. So its effect is actually not, you know, what you would hope it to be. And it's never going to be Plague Rat. Never going to be Plague Rat. Never. What's the top card of your deck? A Fleet of Foot? Yes, please. I think we have failed to discard any card from the top of my deck. Another block card. Plague Rat damaging. Another Afflicted Frenzy. He just doesn't like to have us not be afflicted, I guess. So that means there's a lot of damage going in Legacy's direction, so he needs to be immune to fire damage for sure now. Or we could do Heroic Interception, and then he will not be highest anymore, but this is gonna deal himself 5 damage? No, it won't. He's immune to fire damage, right? Right? When this card in his play, he deals himself melee, it turns into fire, and we're all immune to fire damage right now, so I can just do this. This is a good time to do this. Good. I mean, it doesn't stop the Afflicted Frenzy thing, but I can play that card, so I should. Fire. So I think the fire effect, yeah, fire gets removed, so we were, Legacy would have taken the fire damage here, but is not now. Damage. How many bursts? 7 bursts. You're doing Galvanize, Inspiring Presence, Imbued Fire damage, so 10 twice. So we win. We won the damage race. All right, good. Good one to start off with. Very easy, very safe damage, absolutely. No issues whatsoever. Man, these one-shots are so easy. All right. Challenge Matriarch. I had to think for a second. Push it to the limit. Walk along the cosmic edge, but don't look down. Just keep your head or you'll be finished. Open up the limit past the haka of no return. You've reached the highest note, but still you gotta learn how to sing it. Ride the lightning and double the damage, wings wide open like an angel out of heaven. You crash the vortex going for the back of beyond. No crow's gonna stop you. There's nothing that's strong. So close. Now you're nearly at the brink, so push it! This one-shot requires Rook City, Infernal Relics, and Wrath of the Cosmos. Back issue ended September 12th, 2017. So 5 years ago, this was the active one-shot. Challenge Matriarch versus Captain Cosmic, Argent Adept, Fnatic, Tempest, and Haka in the Realm of Discord. It's the Primordans team in their base version versus Challenge Matriarch, which I believe makes the domain cards indestructible. We'll see. Hear my song of pain and sorrow, all must know the might of Corvus. Your evil-doing days are numbered, no matter how dangerous you are, governor. I can't, sorry. I even rolled an R in there, oh my god. Have at the allies. This is not a British accent at all, sorry. Alright, Captain Cosmic has Cosmic Crest, Harsh Offense, Potent Disruption, and Unflagging Animation. Argent Adept has Inspiring Supertonic, Polyphoric Flare, Syncopated Onslaught, and Teleman's Lyra. Fnatic has Chastise, Divine Sacrifice, Final Dive, and Smite the Transgressor. Tempest has Elemental Subwave Inducer, Into the Stratosphere, Localized Hurricane, and Otherworldly Resilience. Haka has Enduring Intercession, Haka of Battle, Punish the Weak, and Savage Mana. Enduring Intercession is pretty good, isn't it? Or no, sorry, not that one. Savage Mana is pretty good. This one. Not this one. One's not as good. It can be good. This could be an environment where it's good. Explosive Bubbles deals 2 damage, which would be 1 if he has Taumoko. This deals 2 damage. Maybe not. There's a lot of 2 damages here. This is start of turn damage. This is 3 damage. Well, it's not even environment damage, but you know. But then there's like Negative Energy Field that deals 1 damage repeatedly, but that would become 0 if redirected to Haka. He just needs to have his Taumoko, which he does not have. Alright, Matriarch. Mask of the Matriarch is put into play, the villain deck is shuffled. Whenever a foul card is played from the villain deck, the top card of the villain deck is played. Whenever a foul card is destroyed, the hero with the highest HP must either destroy one of their equipment or ongoing cards, or the Matriarch deals them 3 psychic damage. When the villain trash is shuffled to the villain deck, the Matriarch flips. Challenge, Carrion, Wasteland, domain cards are indestructible. On the flip side, whenever a foul card enters play, the Matriarch regains 3 HP. Whenever a foul card is played from the villain deck, the top card of the villain deck is played. Whenever a foul card is destroyed, the Matriarch deals the hero target with the lowest HP 1 psychic damage. When the villain trash is shuffled into the villain deck, the Matriarch flips. So, is built around shuffles. But yeah. With 5 heroes, H-2 is 3, and so dealing 3 damage for each foul card destroyed is a lot of damage. It is a lot of damage. The Mask of the Matriarch says, like, the first time each turn a villain card other than a foul card enters play the top card of the villain deck. At the start of the villain turn, the Matriarch regains 2 HP. Basically meaning that she gets 2 terminal card plays a turn, where the foul cards are non-terminal. Let's see what we got. We got a foul, a foul, a foul, a foul, a foul, a domain. So we play a card, foul, and then Darken the Sky. So yeah. There are 3 copies of Darken the Sky. We got 1 of them out. The terminal cards are Carrion Fields, Darken the Sky, Horrid Cacophony, Hugin, and Munin. And Horrid Cacophony destroys 5 hero ongoing cards. So hero ongoing cards are a bit more destructible than equipments, but the equipments can still be chosen to be destroyed by Hugin. Although it's at the start of the villain turn. Savage Mana is pretty important, but it is also liable to be destroyed by, you know, Horrid Cacophony, so it's not necessarily safe. What do we want to do? We could Chastise a Carrion Fields. That would make it immune to damage and cannot deal damage. What we'll probably want eventually someday is Zealous Offense, because that will prevent the Carrion Fields from retaliating, provided we can keep this card in play, and she needs to deal 3 damage in a turn to do that, and her base power is not necessarily way of doing that. We have Squall, which will take out all the fouls. There are 6 fouls, and so that's going to be 18 damage from Matriarch and 24 damage from Carrion Fields. That's a lot of damage. Otherworldly Resilience helps a bit with some of the Carrion Fields damage, but not the Matriarch damage. It does mean the fouls are also less effective, but a lot of them deal 1 damage, except this deals 2 damage. And then I think the Kettle of Vultures is also 2 damage, but to the lowest, and then everything else is 1 damage to a number of things. Either everyone but the highest, or everyone but the lowest, or each one. Yeah, I think those are basically all the varieties we have. So I don't know that we do Squall. Someday we might want Haka to take, like, Savage Mana and use Rampage to kill all the fouls so that they can just rest underneath Savage Mana and not be brought back. The Mask would be loved to be under Savage Mana in any case. If we could set that up this turn, that would be fine. Hopefully it doesn't get destroyed immediately. But putting the Mask under Savage Mana means that Darken the Sky doesn't bring the Mask back, so it's one less thing to worry about. Otherwise, we could Stratosphere the Mask, which just means that her turn is empty. She just plays the Mask. Not a million fouls. You have power that powers that could float around. But what powers would be useful here? I don't know. Is Cosmic Crest going to get immediately destroyed if we don't deal with the fouls? I mean, even if we deal with the fouls, the Carrion Fields will kill it. That hits the Cosmic Crest. That hits the Cosmic Crest. So it's not going to die immediately. But we still have to resolve how to, like, dispatch with the fouls, basically. We could redirect all damage dealt by Carrion Fields and Matriarch to Fanatic. That's not dangerous at all. That would kill Fanatic, right? That's... We said that was 18 from Matriarch and 24 from Carrion Fields? Yep, that kills Fanatic. Localized Hurricane doesn't seem like a good idea when... Like, I don't want to increase the damage dealt to Tempest just yet, but we also can't really use his base power right now. I mean, I guess we're Stratusphering, right? Whether we're still not using base power. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. The only thing that Tempest could ever really Stratosphere is the Mask or Hugin or Munin, since the Carrion Fields are indestructible. And putting a foul on top of the deck is pretty pointless because it means that he plays a card anyway. It just means that it doesn't have a start of turn action. What to do, what to do. What if I did use Squall? What if I were to chastise Carrion Fields? And then I just have to soak up the 3 damage 6 times. And then we do the Stratosphere. Well, Stratosphere technically would happen first, but we kill all the fouls. Aaron Fields doesn't react. Matriarch hits us for 18, but then plays Mask next turn and nothing else happens. That way, Haka could get out Savage Mana and it would be safe. Tempest could do other things next turn. It's also possible that we leave Chastise out because 2 damage to Fnatic is nothing versus the 4 damage that Carrion Fields will do, especially with the constructs out, because this will hit the constructs repeatedly. I think I can get behind that plan. Let's see if we get. Let's do Harsh Offense, see if we get constructs. If we do, then we could do like Unflagging Animation on a future turn. We could do it now, but there's nothing in my trash now. Let's see what we got. We got 4? Well, 2. We got 2 Vitality Conduits. Vitality Conduits, they would love to be hit by Carrion Fields, right? So maybe sometimes you want Carrion Fields dealing damage. Like, also this and Dynamic Siphon would be great hits. Another Harsh Offense. I could have done Unflagging Animation. I guess I wouldn't have, because the top card was one of these. Probably Vitality Conduit. Put this in play. Got 1 construct. And a Conservation of Energy drawn. There's a Wounding Buffer. So we don't want to throw a power to Tempest because we are not prepared for Squall yet. Power on Haka is also not that exciting. Could do Syncopated Onslaught. Because the powers here aren't that great. Extra constructs, I guess. Fnatic dealing 2 damage, Haka dealing 2 damage. We can't do Squall. But like, if we're just dealing 2 damage, Syncopated Onslaught probably does more than that, in fact. Yeah, it will pay itself off with Stratosphere and this, although... Oh yeah, hitting Tempest with that pays it off, and then we can hit someone else, like... Fnatic would do slightly more damage because Haka's putting Savage Mana out and then base powering for 3. I can get behind that. Alright, so Chastise the Carrion Fields. Another Chastise. Beautiful. Stratosphere the Mask. Now we can take everything out. We've already done quite a bit of damage to Matriarch. Only 15, but still. When you win the game by dealing 70 damage to the villain, 15 damage is progress. Portal Fiend is here. Matriarch plays. Oh my gosh, the Mask of the Matriarch. No way. Okay. They're currently hitting Tempest, but there are no cards in the environment trash, so you're dealing nothing. Ideally, we would like for Haka to kill the Mask of the Matriarch. Means that we would have to deal 9 damage or less than 9 damage to the Mask. Localized Hurricane could hit it for 3, or if we do Syncopated Onslaught again. There's nothing that we can final dive other than a construct. Because that would do 4 damage. 5 with Syncopated Onslaught. This also deals 2 or 4 with Syncopated Onslaught, or yeah, that's the same target. Because Haka can only deal 2 damage, or slightly more with Haka Battle, I suppose. Finish the week isn't really good here. Could do Haka of Battle to try to do whatever damage we missed. See, if I throw a +1 on Fnatic and we don't final dive, it would be 2 and 2 for 4. And then Localized Hurricane would deal 3, which is 7. So yeah, +1 on Fnatic, and then this does enough damage to take out the Mask. So we could do +1 on Tempest, I suppose. We do more damage to Matriarch. The problem with +1 on Fnatic is that we do have Chastise that we probably want to keep out. We could get rid of it because you're not retaliating against anything this turn, but in future turns you would. And we don't know if you're going to play a Million Fouls, or if you're going to Darken the Sky, or if you're just going to play Hugin or something. We don't know yet. You could also destroy Ongoings. If you're just going to destroy Ongoings, you probably should leave Ongoings out, though. I could put Unflagging Animation out just so that we have an Ongoing that could be destroyed. I think I will. Construct Cataclysm. There are no constructs in play. I can deal 1 target 0 damage, or up to 0 targets 3 damage. I will put that in my hand because that does nothing. Energy Bracer, that's pretty good. That's really good. Plays next to a character card? Yeah. But putting that next to any hero is going to be really good. I'm gonna put out Inspiring Supertonic. And let's do pluses on the usual suspects. Maybe not Fnatic, right? Because we said we didn't want to do that. So if I don't do +1 on Fnatic, this is 1 and 1. That's 2. This is 4, which is 6. If I do it on Haka, this is 3, which is 9. So it does work to do Tempest and Haka here. Inferno Sonata. That could allow us to reset the villain deck with Hugin or Munin later. Then the question is, what is Fnatic playing here? We could just Divine Sacrifice. But if you do Horror Cacophony, that kills... Does it? It's 3 times 5 to Fnatic? That doesn't kill. But it's just like 1 damage. Not that great. You don't have an additional power, so that's just damage. I think I just don't play anything. Because there's like nothing to play other than another Chastise, but I don't want to waste that on Carrion Fields. Sacrosanct Martyr is another power, though. Those are cards. Alright, I don't need +1, and I don't want Enduring Intercession right now, so let's do Haka of Shielding. Just to draw cards, really. And I think I just ditch Punish the Weak. Not really good in this match. It will be good for Rampage on one turn, and then every other turn it's like Matriarch is not the lowest target, so Haka has a -1 on her. Yes. All right, environment. Oh no, it hit Tempest because +1. And then Spinning Vortex. I don't want to destroy anything. Any hero with things in play deals damage. That's terrible. I skip. I will take the damage. How dare you? How dare you try to destroy my stuff? Okay, the Onslaught is working against me right now. Matriarch is like, foul! And then Horror Cacophony. Alright. So if I want to leave Savage Mana in play, I destroy everything but Savage Mana. Chastise is back, or sorry, Chastise is gone. Carrion Fields can deal damage again, but Mask is still tucked away safely. I lost my unflag animation. I lost my thingy. I lost the power that I could use that doesn't kill Kettle of Vultures before Haka does. We also lost the +1, I guess. Oh, and I also lost the power, damn. Wearing Super Tonic is gone. I could give a power to Haka to eat the kettle, but I can't do that now. So Tempest's power is gone. We do have Vernal Sonata to bring back what we lost if we want it. We don't need another Chastise just yet, though. I want the localized Hurricane back. I want the unflag animation back. How many more Horror Cacophonies do you have? Just one? Okay. This is going after Haka right now. Energy Bracer and Fanatic might be fine. Although it does get in the way of Sacrosanct Martyr, but makes Chastise be less detrimental. We don't have her nuke, so she doesn't need to be at super low HP yet. Otherwise I could throw out on Haka and we could do Enduring Intercession stuff. Definitely playing it. I think I'll throw it on Haka, and then he can... Like, throwing it on whoever can have the highest HP to soak up the Matriarch damage, I think, is a good strategy. Haka will usually be highest. We could give this to Tempest that he has a power. That seems reasonable. I could do Vernal Sonata, but then Argent doesn't have a power. We don't need to Vernal Sonata since Tempest has a different power now. I think I'll do Scherzo so that we have something for him to do. Some song for him to play. And let's put out Chastise on Carrion Fields. Damage the Matriarch. And let's put out an Ongoing. And then deal damage to only the Matriarch. And then let's put out Mare and hit the Kettle of Vultures. And let's sit on the Kettle of Vultures. I will not destroy my stuff. Haka has a -1. Ghostly Images. If it is a one-shot, put into play. If it is not a one-shot, discard it and deal that hero damage. I don't know if there's an order that matters here. If there's things that would combo. I guess Argent Adept could play like Silver Shadow, but there's no things to do with that, so let's choose for me. That's not a one-shot. That's not a one-shot. That is a one-shot, so you get an additional power fanatic. It's not a one-shot. That is a one-shot. Hopefully you don't do self-damage. Okay. I don't think we need 2 Enduring Intercessions. I'm just gonna discard 1 card. I don't need super damage right now. Cohort. Alright, if that's your only play, that's pretty good. Can we get Hugin under Savage Mana? Yes, because we have damage means. Can we make sure that or Cacophony does not destroy Savage Mana? We have 1, 2, 3, 4 ongoing cards in play right now. We need to put as many out there as we can. We need 2 more. We have Sacrosanct Martyr, we have Grievous Hailstorm, so that would protect Savage Mana. We could do Enduring Intercession. I suppose we could do Dominion, which would be better. And then that way we can eat Hugin, and so Hugin doesn't come into play when Munin comes out, which is good. Vitality Conduit on Haka to keep him highest, I suppose. More constructs, more problems. Top card of my deck is a Destructive Response. It's an ongoing. Has no negative effect. Alright. Do I do Vernal Sonata now? Vernal Sonata sets up Captain Cosmic really well, doesn't it? Lets us get whatever we want on top of his deck and played. Alright. Get that Unflocking Animation back. Get that Inspiring Supertonic back. Maybe I want that other Chastise in case the other Carrion Fields comes out. I want the Localized Hurricane. And what am I looking for with you? Rampage? Probably Rampage, so I don't want those. I could take Haka Battle or Haka of Shielding because it draws more. Haka of Shielding. Also, how much damage do we need to do to Hugin? If I could just do Lightning Slash and that would do it. Sets it up perfectly. Except I wanted to play an ongoing instead. I don't have to. You have 3 damage here. You have 2 damage on Fnatic. I have 2 damage here. We'll just get Hugin down to 2 by any means. Ongoing? Ongoing? And then we eat the Hugin. Guess we only had to do 4 damage because of Haka battle. It's fine. Portal Fiend is damaging Haka. Explosive bubbles. Hitting a lot of people. Alright, we're halfway there. Foul. And Darken the Sky, but guess what? Mask of the Matriarch is not in the trash. Unfortunately, we don't have Rampage yet, so we can't put all the fouls under Haka. So we could do a second energy burst on Haka in anticipation of Matriarch dealing damage, though. He's not always going to be the highest, though. And I don't think we're actually going to be able to set him up to kill all the things. Dynamic Siphon. You can definitely have him eat 2 things, maybe 3 things with Elbow Smash. Yeah, so if I do Inspire Supertonic on Haka to use a power, he could use Mare and he draws another card, and then he could take out a foul. Then on his turn he does Elbow Smash, and then he does Mare. Whoa. So what ones need to be taken out? The one that hits highest is presumably hitting Haka. And that would be for 0. So the Building of Rooks is least necessary to be taken out. It could even be left out, maybe. Anything that hits everyone but the highest is bad because that means it doesn't hit Haka. Did not draw a Rampage. Yeah, Fnatic taking 2 damage is way better than Carrion Fields dealing 7 damage for each foul card, right? I'm just gonna ignore the other fouls and just continue to bring down Matriarch. Undaunted is fairly okay. I mean, it doesn't stop the Matriarch damage, but it's fine. I guess I should consider hitting Explosive Bubbles at some point so it deals less damage. Like here? Cleansing Downpour. Alright, Explosive Bubbles. You're hitting Matriarch, Tempest, Haka. Oh, because it's tied. So Matriarch and Haka, so I don't have to hit it anymore. Except Haka's going to be hit here. Each is strictly worse than each except lowest. So this one. Probably better to hit Tempest with this one. That Explosive Bubbles hits Haka for 0. Guess actually it's 4 damage. Or 3. Okay, oh, they really... It's fine. This is now doing 10 damage, so I think we can win in the next round. Starting to think we've won this. Let's just hit another foul. Fry foul. No rampage. The only thing that would slightly screw it up, I guess Carrion Fields is highest. The only thing that would screw it up, Hero... What is that? Hero dealt damage this way? The target dealt damage this way, okay. But Haka is not dealt damage this way, but he can still deal damage. Each except the lowest. Let's hit everything but an energy bracer here. Vitality Conduit's gonna get hit and that will heal Haka. And then hit the, or do not hit the other energy bracer. Foul? 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 Munin. The Munin is the only one that could create a problem here. Because the -1 on Matriarch now. But Hyujin was not in the villain trash, so there isn't a -2 on Matriarch right now. So Savage Man is currently at 6 times 2, which is 12, -1, which is 11. So I just have to do 15 damage to Matriarch elsewhere. Question is how to deal 15 damage to Matriarch. We do have Haka of Battles, huh? We could double up on Haka of Battle by doing Electra Subdominant on Haka. Haka's hand has 10 cards. Play that. Your hand's down to 9, but you draw 2, so it'll be at 11, so you get plus 11. This is 12 plus 11, which is 23. -1, which is 22, so we have to deal 4 damage. Which Localized Hurricane deals 2. Sacrosanct Martyr can deal 4. So I think that wins. We don't even need Alacritus Subdominant. Good Final Dive Construct to do even more. They're on Autonomous Blade somewhere for 1 point of damage. Dynamic Siphon on Tempest actually does more damage. Does it? You have additional power? You do. Okay, so we could do this on Tempest. He gets to do 2 powers on Fanatic's turn, in which case I should have probably done Autonomous Blade on Tempest. I'm not going to rewind for that. Because we've won. Play this. Take out an Energy Bracer because we want the others. Or this actually is only dealing 1 point of damage. Take that one out. Isn't working. But this works. Four damage. What would your power be after that, though? Or your play after that? Just Chain lightning for 3. I'm reminded of a criticism I had in one of my earlier videos, like early videos, where they said that I'm supposed to be more strategic and less focused on damage. But you have to deal damage to win the game. Like, you can't not deal 70 damage to Matriarch and win the game. You could deal 68 damage to Matriarch and take her out with, like, you know, Sucker Punch, but you have to deal 70-ish damage to Matriarch one way or another in order to win the game. You can't not deal damage. You can't just play setup cards for the entire game and expect to win. You have to deal damage eventually. And part of understanding Sentinels is understanding that while it's fun to have a hero with 10 ongoing cards in play, you don't always need that to win the game. You can win with only 2 cards in play. You can win with 0 cards in play, as long as you destroy the villain before they destroy you. And sometimes it's safer to do 0 cards in play, like playing ongoing cards for setup against Omnitron is not always ideal if he's going to destroy your stuff. Playing equipment cards against Omnitron is not always ideal if he's going to deal you 2 damage for each equipment card he destroys indiscriminately. But you know. Alright, final dev. Energy Bracer. This is also not doing anything. Well, I was gonna do Smite the Transgressor, I suppose. But then again, my base power does 0, so it doesn't actually change anything. Just making it easier for Haka to win without needing to Haka of Battle. I think we still need it though. Discarded 5. This is doing 7 minus 1, so I need to do 1 more. It's like bare minimum. Or actually, no, I'm not. I didn't even need to do it because I'm gonna do Savage Mana. No, I'm not. I'm showboating right now. I have my Savage Mana all set up that was gonna kill the Matriarch, and I forgot that I had it. Oh well. Still good to have that Savage Mana to prevent cards from entering the villain trash. It's pretty good for that effect. All right. Let's play another one. For 2 quick games. Our next one's not going to be as easy. Except it's Gloomweaver, it's easy. In the Midnight Hour. Randomized start. He lives in his own dark realm. His zombies are seeking to overwhelm. While he's out all night to collect despair. Just so long, it doesn't mess up his hair. I walked the realm with you, Gloom. 1,000 miles with you. I fed you tears of pain, Gloom, 1,000,000 times for you. I'd sell my soul for you, Gloom, for mortals to burn for you. I'd give you all and have none, Gloom, just to have you here on Earth. trying to figure out if this is I walked 1,000 miles, or I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more just to be the one who walked 1,000 miles with you. I forget what comes next. I'm only thinking of that because it says 1,000 miles, but I can't figure out, because I don't know lyrics that well. I just know that part of the song. And I know that because How I Met Your Mother played it on loop. This is, however, not the song. The lyrics I'm looking up are not the song that I thought it was. Da 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 da. What is this song? I'm gonna be 500 miles. The problem is there are other songs that reference 500 miles, so it's not sure if this is the one that it's referencing. Just to be the man who walked 1,000 miles to fall down at your door. Ba-da-da, 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 ba-da-da. Yeah, I'm bad with pop culture references because I don't really listen to pop songs that much. I just listen to the few songs that I'm familiar with, and most of what I actually listen to myself are like video game OSTs, which are usually melodic and not lyrical. Anyway, it's a randomized start, so no one knows what's happening in this. It's Gloomweaver versus Visionary, Arch and Adept, Super Scientific Tachyon, and Wraith in Insula Chromalis. And it just requires Infernal Relics because of Gloomweaver. That's literally the only reason it needs Infernal Relics. All this delicious despair, I could almost taste it. Let me in, mortals! I have foreseen the consequences of this conflict. Alright. Visionary in this randomized start has Demoralization, Mind Spike, Precognition, Suggestion. Arch and Adept has Drake's Pipes, Idasar's Horn, Inventive Preparation, Vernal Sonata. Super Scientific Tachyon has Blinding Speed, Fleet of Foot, Hypersonic Assault, and Sucker Punch. Wraith has Impromptu Invention, Suture Self, Trust Fund, and Utility Belt. Seems like a pretty good start. You start with 4 zombie cards in play. At the start of the villain turn, if 3 villain relics are in play, Gloomweaver flips. Otherwise, if 3 villain relics are in a villain trash, the heroes win. Whenever a cultist is destroyed, a zombie card is put into play from the villain trash. It's standard Gloomweaver, there's no advance or challenge here. On the flip side, which happens only if there are 3 relics in play, Gloomweaver regains 40 HP. Whenever a cultist is destroyed, a zombie card from the villain trash is put into play. At the end of the villain turn, Gloomweaver deals X toxic damage to the 3 hero targets with the highest HP, where X equals the number of voodoo pins in play plus 2. I don't think I've ever flipped Gloomweaver. I never have gotten 3 relics in play. I think I might have actually done it once just to see what it was, but that was like in 2015 when this first came out or something. Or whatever year it was, because he has 90 HP, which is a lot, but waiting for 3 relics to go into play and get destroyed takes forever. The relics have 25 HP. Dealing 75 damage to relics is kind of foolish when you can deal 90 damage to Gloomweaver, but usually you kill Gloomweaver before the 3rd relic enters play, so. We do start with 4 zombies, so like the deck is actually 21 cards, and a zombie card deals the non-villain target with the highest HP 2 melee damage. It's actually H-2, and so with 3 heroes, you only have 2 zombies dealing 1 damage. With 5 heroes, you have 4 zombies dealing 3 damage. So like with more heroes, these are more deadly. But anyway. Zombie Servant, Zombie Servant, Zombie Servant, Zombie Servant. And then we're also getting a Sable Pin. When his card on his play, place it next to the hero with the most cards in play. At the end of the hero's turn, that hero's player destroys one of their cards, or Gloomweaver deals that hero 4 psychic damage. I mean, we're probably hypersonic assaulting. It stops the zombies from dealing damage. It stops the Sable Pin, or it stops Gloomweaver from dealing damage, and so Sable Pin does nothing. And so playing this on Tachyon or Wraith is correct. Put it on Tachyon. Tachyon doesn't usually have cards in play, but doesn't matter. Alright, this choice doesn't matter because the others are gonna get hit anyway. And then let's give this to Visionary since everyone else took it. Let's keep everyone even. Okay. So we could actually accidentally win the game, sort of, by revealing top 3 cards of the villain deck and discarding a relic, right? Or is it? Oh, it doesn't get discarded. 1 goes on top and 2 goes on the bottom. It's actually not do that, huh? Can't ever discard a top card of the villain deck. I guess we could Super Scientific Tachyon on Gloomweaver, is what we could do. Put 2 on the bottom of the villain deck. As long as there's a relic and a card that's not a relic, then they get discarded. And that's really weird. I'm not sure that's worth doing. I think Super Scientific Tachyon's better for getting heroes set up, really. But the only time we would ever really want to do it on Gloomweaver is after doing Precognition and putting a relic on the bottom. But only if it's exactly 1 relic. Demoralization is nice free damage. It's persistent. I'm just going to do Demoralization, and you're going to like it. And then Enlighten on Visionary is always good. Because discarding bursts are good, getting to your nuke cards are good. Arjanet doesn't really have a good card other than Inventive Preparation here. For a second, I was trying to think, why is this one-shot a thing? Like, what was John doing here? But really, there's no reason because it's randomized. Hood Goggles and Synaptic Interruption. So a burst would be Sucker Punch. Rest the Mind. All right, a song. The only song we have is Inventive Preparation. Okay. Could discard bursts at least. Visionary has Suggestion, that's a good one. Polyphoric Flare, let's discard it because we want more setup right away. Sucker Punch is a burst and doesn't do that much, so we discard that one. Inventory Barrage, I don't want right now. It's a good endgame card, but not a good early game card. Alright, so let's do Fleet of Foot and then HUD Goggles, because that's the correct order. We draw the cards that we saw, except we only have 1 of them, I think, right? And that was the Suggestion. Prompt to Invention is nice, because we have 2 of them now. And then we'll do HUD Goggles and then Hypersonic. And now the demoralization that Visionary has will kill the remaining zombies. So we don't have to focus on them at all. Experiment on Tachyon? If we experiment on the environment, does it ever work? Yeah, I could reveal 2 dinosaurs. Half the deck is dinosaur. It'd be interesting on Arch and Adept. But you do have a number of keywords that are disjoint. Be interesting on Visionary. Although Distortion is not a good one. I'm just gonna do it on myself. It's me, a Synaptic, and a Fleet of Foot. Cool. 4 cards. That was a successful experiment. Lots of ongoing and environment destruction right now. Let's do Synaptic as the play, I suppose. Lots of redirects. I guess that's good with Sable Pin, right? And now Wraith could get whatever she wants. Infrared Eyepiece seems pretty good to control the villain deck. Got the utility belt in my hand, so I could do infrared eyepiece and then stun bolt. I mean, Gloomweaver doesn't do that much damage. Like, Gloomweaver's damage is almost exclusively like relics, right? Or voodoo pins even. Voodoo pin damage is irreducible. This happens. That is damage. That is damage. This is not damage. I mean, infrared eyepiece is so good. It's so much better than like just trying to do straight up damage because you can stop the villain from doing terrible things usually. Let's do impromptu. We could draw a stun bolt. So infrared in play. And then this draws a throwing knives. Like, we could do micro-targeting computer instead. I would still want to do utility belt, in which case I'm using it on my base power. Is there any reason to do smoke bombs or mega computer? Not if there's no guaranteed damage happening. We are closely tied on HP though, so smoke bombs would be pretty cool, but let's do micro targeting. Wraith is pretty much set up for the rest of the game now. Go pin is forced discards. Next to the hero with the fewest cards in play is going to be, ironically, not Tachyon. Either Visionary or Argent Adept. They're which I want. So zombie is what it is. Through a micro-targeting computer. Great. Environment plays Obsidian Field. Cool. So this zombie servant just immediately dies to demoralization, although it does still deal damage. And we can choose who it hits. Argent Adept, does that max HP? But Argent Adept, I suppose. Order doesn't matter, there's no cultists out. Alright, so we could do Suggestion. Although we do also have, like, Wraith here. Don't have anyone to rest. We could do Precognition. Although, again, we have our utility belt here set up for infrared and something else. We already have deck control there. It's kind of a weird turn. Maybe we keep Precognition for, like, next turn, and so, like, Wraith could do Stun Bolt this turn, and then Throwing Knives next turn, and then she has 2 powers that aren't deck revealing cards. Could just do Mind Spike on Gloomweaver. I think that's acceptable. I'm ignoring Disable Pin still. Tachyon for this again. Another Hypersonic Assault. Has not been dealt damage. So this is a rhythm. We have nothing that goes off of rhythms. Scherzo actually deals 4 damage. That's quite a bit. And it works with Idasar's Horn. Although it's not that great for Idasar's Horn because we don't have a Harmony in play. Two plays. Could do hypersonic again because the Sable Pin is gonna be going off. Although actually we do want it to go off because we can redirect the damage to Gloomweaver and it's pretty cute. So I will do a Synaptic and then nothing else. Reveal the bottom 2 cards of my deck again. Another Fleet of Foot. Let's do Quick Insight first before I do Fleet of Foot, since I can play one of the cards I draw. Let's get rid of Accelerated Assault. And a Nimble Strike. It's usually pretty good though, but I want to keep the Blinding Speed for ongoing destruction, or environment destruction. There's only one ongoing card. Only one villain ongoing card. Right? Because it's just the Strength of the Grave, which is not going to do anything if there are no zombies in play. I get to play a card, and I'm going to do Nimble Strike. We got a nuke. Yay! And Gloomweaver hits himself. Alright. So I actually don't want a Stun Bolt then. So let's do Throwing Knives. See what Gloomweaver's playing. First Acolyte and Vast Following. There are no relics in the trash. This just plays a random card versus Cursed Acolyte that deals 3 and 3 damage to each hero target and is pretty awful. I'm actually going to go with the random play. As weird as it is. There's no things in the trash for it to grab, so it's fine. There's no relics, there's no cultists. Each hero may destroy one of their equipment cards. Deal any hero that does not destroy an equipment card for fire damage. Well, Tachyon can take that. Wraith would like not to, but she could destroy Throwing Knives. But we're very close to max HP, so I'm fine doing this. Skip. Really? I should have hit skip. Alright, Fast Following. And then a Voodoo Pin next to Tachyon. Okay. So Pin's dead. Yeah, so the plan was to like play Stun Bolt next. So I could do suggestions and precognitions. Adjust the Sable Pin. Goes next to the hero with the most cards in play, which is going to be Wraith. But it stops Gloomweaver from doing anything else. I could put a Zombie Servant on top. Let's do Zombie Servants, actually. Draws the Tachyon. Discards Sucker Punch. This match is pretty much won at this point. It was won like a round ago, but it's still pretty much won. Let's see what we get here. We have 2 Instrumental Conjurations. And then other songs. Probably want to get instruments. Silver Shadow's good. Whatever, I'm gonna be playing Instrumental Conjuration, so whatever's on the top of my deck is not gonna be there. It's more just whatever I want in the trash. And I think I'm gonna put Sadistic Dissonant in the trash. I guess I could activate its Accompany. with Idasar's Horn, but I want Silver Shadow, I want Syncopated Onslaught. Don't have any instruments there. So it's deck. And let's do the Lyra first, because I haven't gotten an actual Harmony yet. So I could get someone else to play a card right now, or I could just deal 4 damage to Gloomweaver. I think 4 damage is fine. I guess actually the better instrument to have taken, now that I'm thinking about it, I was already thinking about, like, what if I get the... I should have done like Punku's Drum, because I could have done the card play and the damage. But I was thinking, what if I get the Inspiring Supertonic, but I haven't yet. Because in this randomized start, John stacked the decks terribly. So, welp. Alright, we are at 13 bursts in the trash. That is a lot. And we do have a Vernal Sonata that I could use to get Lightspeed Barrage back someday. Let's do Nimble Strike first. No limits. Alright. I think I need to play multiple cards here. Let's just do Lightspeed Barrage then. And do the bottom 2 of my deck again. Getting another... Well, this is limited, so it's not, but the Research Grant is in play. And then this redirects. It's my last Synaptic Interruption. We have Zombie Servant on top, so I can just do damage directly to Gloomweaver. Revolva's gonna have us discard 3 cards. See what Tachyon discarded. A Lightspeed Barrage. Womp womp. Still 1 left in the deck, and we can of course Vernal Sonata 1 back. Volcanic Eruption. Oh boy. That's something to destroy. We can just destroy it easily with our cards. Let's again do Zombie Servants. Draws on Tachyon. Fortunately, we did not get the last thing. I'm gonna... Yeah, we do have multiples of those. I'll discard that. Wraith also has Environment Destruction if worst comes to worst. It also deals each target. We can win the game with that. So it's like not an issue whatsoever. Silver Shadow for play. Like Lightning Reflexes Quick Insight on Tachyon out of turn. I guess I want to put the thing on top before I do that though. So actually I don't do that. Unless I can get someone else a good play. Because I can get the Hypersonic on top, and I can do Quick Insight and draw the Hypersonic, and we probably just win the game with that, don't we? Because this is doing 18 damage right now. Plus Wraith's damage, so it's pretty much won. Any other things I could do? More bursts in the trash out of turn, I suppose. I don't know, you have enough bursts though. Inventory Barrage? No. Just like damage. just like damage. I could just do Sonic Vortex, I suppose. Because you don't have enough card plays, I think. If we're trying to get you to play 2 Lightspeed Barrages and also Lightning Reflexes. Suggestion sounds good to me. Arcane Cadence. I mean, those decisions don't matter at all. Prompt to Invention, sure. This one? Alright, Tachyon, go away. Not go away, but pop off. Do your thing, Tachyon. That's what I'm trying to say. Alright, Tachyon, do your thing. Ah, the second Lightspeed Barrage. Perfect. So burst. Burst. And then this is super overkill. Yeah. We won again! Alright, well, what's the next one? If it's gonna be a hard one, I don't think I want to start it. TBH. Challenge Citizen Dawn. Yeah, let's save that for next week. Because I did 3 games today. That's a lot of games. My brain needs a break. Thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed your stay. This was Dolphin's Dive, here every Thursday at 7 p.m. to play some strategic Handelabra products. Handelabra products that include Sentinels of the Multiverse, bottom of the deck. I did it again. Oh my gosh. I did literally the same mistake I did at the start that I did at the end. Sentinels of the Multiverse, bottom of the 9th. I almost said it again. 1 deck dungeon. Aeon's End, Spirit Island. I'm now second guessing all of these games. They're all available on Steam, iOS, and Android devices. 1 Deck Dungeon is also available on Switch, and Sentinels of Earth Prime has been kickstarted and is in active development and will be released before the heat death of the universe. Check out the other streams you have on this channel. Tomorrow at 4 p.m. is Luck of the Seamus with Seamus the Hug Monster. Saturday at 2 p.m. is Spirit Island Saturdays with usually myself, usually Seamus, and usually John. I myself will not be here this Saturday because I have my shift at work Saturday night, so I'm not going to be there. Hopefully someone else will be there, though. We'll see how, as we get closer. And every Tuesday at 7 p.m. is Handelabra Live with John. Follow me at twitch.tv/LogicDolphin if you would like to see games from the Final Fantasy XIII trilogy. They are all pretty good, and I like to show off what makes the games good. They tend to get a lot of hate from people for various reasons. I like to show why those reasons tend to be wrong, because people tend to underestimate certain things about the game. But anyway, I think that will wrap things up for today. Thanks again for watching. Have a good night, everyone.